Hi, my name is Marisa Brooks, and I'm going to talk about my data project, Powerlifters in the USA. I was looking at powerlifting participants and powerlifting meets in the USA in years 2016, 17, and 18. My research question: was there an increase or decrease in participation rates of powerlifters in the USA? And breaking this down by sex of participant, U.S. Census region and division, and political state affiliation between the years of 2016 and 18. I was interested in these specific variables in part because of the 2016 presidential election, where after that election, we as a nation saw an increase in women's rallies, marches, and political activities. And because powerlifting has been seen primarily as a male-dominated arena and sport, I was interested in if there was a relation between women and men's political activities and their exercise and activities, as well as the political states that these meets took place in. Was there a relation between a Democrat state and a Republican state, and somewhere in between, and participation rates of males and females? My data sources were, a bulk of the data came from the Open Powerlifting database. Then supplemental data came from the U.S. Census map of regions and divisions and the U.S. map of political states. And all of these sources can be found at the URLs you see on this page. The data methods were a CSV download from the Open Powerlifting database, ingesting that into Box and converting it to a 7-zip. And part of the reason I had to do it this way was because the size of the file download and the CSV format it was in, it was like a BZ2. And there were some initial problems with that, but doing it in the way that I did was helpful. And then taking that CSV and using Jupyter Notebook, importing the Pandas library and importing that CSV in, and using Python coding throughout the notebook. More about the data method, sorting and cleaning. So the first step, initial step, was a date time conversion, because as I said earlier, I was looking at years, and the dates in the CSV were in a 2-digit month, 2-digit date, 4-digit year, and I needed those to be in a 4-digit year. And then selecting columns, because there were 37 columns in the CSV file and I was only interested in 13. Then deduplicating participant information, because many of the participants had multiple rows of data regarding the same meet. So I was only interested in the first instance of those participants. Removal of null and not available values with participants and states, and then list creation for census map data and political map data, and taking those lists and grouping the data from those lists to get the participation totals. So now here's where we look at data visualization. We've got female powerlifters bar graph on top, male powerlifters on bottom, and we have breakdown by the U.S. Census region and year here. And the data tables included to help show where there were increases and decreases, because in some instances, like here in the Northeast, while there was an increase, it's hard to visually see with the bars. So having that data table information is helpful in instances like that. For female powerlifters, participation rates in each region increased with each year. For male powerlifters, participation rates did increase for all regions except for the West here. From 2016 to 2017, you see a slight decrease in participation. I'm not sure why that is. And then from 2017 to 2018, we see an increase to 6,509 participants, which is greater than the participation totals in 2016. One item to note is that Texas participation rates greatly skewed numbers in the South. So you can see like these bars are super high and the numbers are greater than any of the other regions combined. And this is most likely due to the population and area size of that state. And then possible factors. This list is by no means exhaustive and is just my guesses at this point. For a decrease in male participation in the West, weather related, national disaster or disasters, possible fluctuation in number of competitions offered in that region in those years. So in these visualizations, you see a breakdown by U.S. Census Division. And as you can see, U.S. Census divisions are more than double the amount of the U.S. Census regions. So this data is providing more granularity and details about the participation rates. So for females, it increased in most divisions every year, but the New England division saw a steady decrease in each year, and the South Atlantic saw a decrease from 2017 to 2018. Male powerlifter participation rates increased in most divisions every year as well. The Middle Atlantic division decreased from 2017 to 2018, and the New England division, just like we saw with the female powerlifters, also saw a steady decrease. And then to add to that, West South Central division saw a slight decrease from 2017 to 2018. Again, these are just guesses and by no means exhaustive. Whether national disasters and mass shootings in the U.S. could have led to a decrease in female and male participation. And our last data visualization is where we break it down by political state and year. So these column names, blue, periwinkle, pink, purple, red, are what the color codes on the political state data for this website shows. So blue is liberal, and you can see for female and male powerlifters overall, participation rates increased except for purple states. So purple, this category here, and the states in that category are Iowa, Ohio, and Florida. Purple states decreased from 2017 to 2018 for both male and females. Florida participation rate. So when I looked back at the state data at the state level, for females and males, you can see they follow kind of the same trend in Florida, where they start out kind of small in 2016, 442, 929, then they take these major leaps from 442 to 1078 or 1078 for females, and for males 929 to 1768. And then they both take a dive. They go down 4 to 600 participants in the 2018 years. I'm not sure what that's due to, but again, Florida is greatly skewing the data that we see in those states, or I'm sorry, state political affiliated. Possible factors: state election races, national disasters, mass shootings, and fluctuation in number of competitions offered. So, limitations and future considerations. Time. Time is always going to be a consideration or thing we just don't have enough of. And it was certainly a limitation here because I would have liked more time to look at the historical context of what other things could have contributed to the increase or decrease, what other things were related with this data, because it's hard for me to say at this point if the increases were because of the presidential election. Also, the visualizations that you saw were bar graphs, which were not my first pick for visualization. Bubble maps or some kind of map representation of this data was what I was initially interested in, but again, there was just not enough time. and then a lack of historical context where I was providing possible factors. These were guesses. I would like to, explore what other things were related or could have been attributed to the rise and fall that we saw in the regions, divisions, and political state affiliations. And then also, because I saw what I did in the years 2016 and 2018, I think it'd be interesting just to take a 3-year slice previous to 2016 and look at 2013, 14, and 15 and compare that set to this one to see what kinds of trends we might find. And then if more time was allowed, I would include the state groupings and the state lists. But anyway, thank you.